All right. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Glad to be here now.
Me too.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me over. Really appreciate it. So, Ed, right? I can call you Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shavkat. So, yeah, I love it. I met with you guys just the other day, right? I think this is how this podcasting idea came up, right? So we chatted, we decided to meet again a
Yes.
few times probably, but then the idea of podcasting came up, and then now you interview
Yes.
me. Eventually, I want to interview you as well at our podcast, and so thank you.
All
Very
right.
cool.
So first thing that I wanted to ask, because that first meeting, I was just a student, learning from the other guys, from the big guys.
Cool.
And I had so many questions. First was like, all right, he's Uzbek, but his English is so good. Like,
Thank
did you grow up in America? Or?
No, I went there pretty late in my life. I was 29. Yeah, pretty late. So this is late for, to become an immigrant and start over the whole of your life, professional life. So, but my English, I thought it was good before coming to the United States, but then exactly at the airport, I meet one black guy who says something like, "Yo, what the hell?" I thought I speak English. Like, I didn't understand a single word. Like, and then he's like, "Move your language, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "You want to get your ass kicked?" Like, what are I saying? Like, I didn't understand a word. So then I thought, okay, man, I don't speak English at all. So I will suffer in this country, even though like I have a lot of ambitions. I want to achieve a lot of things. And at that time I was a filmmaker. So, but then we entered one of the Russian stores, right? To buy some, groceries. And the guy comes to the store owner, some Russian dude. And he says like, I want like, two vodka. And the other guy says like, $20. He's like, oh, no problems. And they exchange like, dollars to vodka. And I thought, actually, it's not that hard. Looks like it's going to be easier. So that was like interesting. But yeah, no, I wasn't born or raised in the US. Yeah, I'm local.
So, you going to the U.S. as a filmmaker?
Yep.
Did you land in California or where?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So I actually landed exactly in Hollywood, right? So I worked, on the Hollywood Boulevard.
LAX, yeah.
LAX, yeah. That's. But actually, we drove there. So I moved to Florida first, and then I tried to get a job, and it was impossible because small town, Palm Coast, nobody wants you. So then my dad tells me like, hey, you should go to Hollywood. Like, you should be there. And I was like, okay, so let's drive. So
The
we
Hollywood
drove.
dream.
Yeah, it's a Hollywood dream, but it was a failure. It's a failure story actually for me. So I've knocked so many doors. I brought my films, little short films, my script, knocked so many doors. I talked to agencies. I talked to like big film studios, and I met a lot of people actually. People were open to meet, and then nothing happens. It's like Uzbekistan, people meet
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
no
yeah,
result
yeah.
at all. So that's LA is so expensive, right? I lived in Burbank. It's like one of the most expensive.
Burbank, yeah.
Burbank. So I thought like, oh man, it's my money is like oozing. It's like no money left. So I thought I need to get a job,
Yeah.
and that's how I got into IT, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got a job. I saw the post called SEO manager. I didn't know what SEO stands for, so I looked it up, like search engine optimization. Okay, it doesn't say anything. So then I said, okay, this is bringing website to the top of Google. Well, I know how to do that. I just didn't know it's called SEO, right? Because I had my own agency for, Uzbek brides at that time, a dating agency. I had short films, wanted.com, where I was like number 8 for short films, which is a huge keyword with like at that time I think it was like 350,000 searches per month.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll just tell them like, look, these are my results, this is what I could, and that's what I did. And they hired me. They said, wow, nobody knows how to do SEO, and you get like, you're the first guy who knows this stuff. You hired. I was like, really? Like, yeah.
That's it.
And my first salary was like $50,000 a year, which is today is nothing, but for at that time it was like huge because I was ready to drive, something like a taxi. There was no Uber at that time or anything, or go to a movie theater because I'm a filmmaker and just cut the ticket and say enjoy your movie for like $5 an hour or something like that. So I was ready for everything, but I was lucky to become a white collar kind of worker.
Yeah. To be that slave.
Yeah,
to be that
slave.
corporate
Yeah,
slave.
yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But I was curious because at that time Uzbekistan was a very different place. All
True.
right. When was this? You were 29,
2006,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
2006.
And I'm just trying to understand. Did you come from a privileged background? Because I mean, just getting the U.S. visa,
Yeah.
but like it is the
It's hard.
hardest visa. I'm Filipino. I know the
It's
grind of
really, it's hard.
getting
It's
that.
hard.
Either
It's
you
hard.
have to be rich or you have to be really really good at a certain craft
True.
that they request you to be there.
Or you gotta be lucky. But my case is second. I was good. My visa is EB1A, so it's extraordinary alien visa, which is
Okay.
not hard. It's not hard for me, but people say it's hard. So I don't know. But I always tell people it's actually very easy. There's just 10 requirements that you need to prove that you're kind of extraordinary, right? Exceptional. But if you look at this closely, like we do in IT, right? We just slice and dice things. So I see like, oh, there are only 10 requirements. If you fit 3 out of 10, they give you the visa. So I tried to fit 5 just to make sure. And they did decline the 2. So still I had 3 that they accepted
Yeah.
and they gave me this EB1A, which is like extraordinary. Whenever I travel, the border, from anywhere I enter the
American,
US, those immigration officers, they see my visa and it's like, oh,
yeah.
we
Welcome.
like you, welcome. Yeah. So
Every time I go to like Australia or Europe or US or Canada, there's always at the border,
seriously,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
immigration. Like I
It's
never
crazy.
felt
They
that.
look at you as if you're some criminal, right?
Yeah,
What the
yeah,
heck?
yeah. Always black faces.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
but before going to the US, have you done a bit of traveling or?
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay,
I
all
lived
right.
in Belgium before, in Russia, in Turkey. Yeah, when I was a kid, I lived in Afghanistan.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I traveled a lot, and then afterwards, I also traveled a lot, even while living in the US.
Well, you mentioned about the film earlier, and I'm actually one of the biggest film geeks.
Oh,
But,
nice! I love it.
yeah,
Very cool.
my dad growing up, my family went through a lot of ups and downs.
Oh.
Ups and downs. Downs were really downs, and in the Philippines, down is a
Oh,
down.
I can
All
imagine.
right.
Wow.
In the 80s, that was tough. But in the 90s, it kind of picked up. It became like a president of like Video City, and which is like the blockbuster
Wow.
of the Philippines. We had about 100 stores. So my job as a kid, during those times was just rewind the tapes, and
Nice.
rack them up.
Wow.
And I didn't get paid much, just enough to like, eat. But I get to rent all the
Movies,
tapes,
right?
all the
Yeah,
tapes,
yeah.
all
You
the
probably saw a
VHS,
lot, right? A lot.
and it gave me. It was my window to the world. Right.
Love it.
So that was the kind of dad that he was, and leading into IT, I didn't know. I'm not a developer, but I was always on the internet. I was
Nice.
always in the internet because my dad was this super geek.
Wow. Awesome.
We had a computer inside a house.
Which is
That was
rare at that time, right?
very rare at the time. This was early 90s.
Nice.
I've probably been probably 13 years old,
Oh.
and then it had dial-up. That entire thing. That was, and
Sounds-
nobody had it. Nobody had it.
No
And
internet.
before that, we had this CD-ROM.
Oh, I see the
Right,
yeah, I
and
remember, yeah.
it had Encarta.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
academically, I'm not very smart. I'm not very good,
I think you're shy.
but I had this thing like the teacher would go for a research paper, boom, copy paste, and nobody's able to know. I
course,
just
at
copy
that
and paste.
time,
Like
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
like I just did. I was like the source of like all information.
for other guys, right? For other skill
Yeah,
sets.
yeah,
Wow. Nice.
And when the internet came, imagine what it's like to be a teenage boy.
Oh, nice.
The access, but that was
Everything. Access.
yeah,
The
yeah,
access.
and that's
That's
the,
right, the
access.
access.
access to information.
Yeah.
But that was it. I was always fascinated. There was no Google,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Alta Vista. At that time, there were like small search engines.
The
Yeah.
chats. There were.
Chats,
I
yeah.
was on the internet. Remember when there was no MIRC for chats? We used like WBS. This is how
Yeah,
early
exactly.
on. I don't remember the year. I don't know. I don't remember what
90s,
age
Yeah. Yeah.
I was, but I remember because the only time I would be able to use the internet is in the middle of the night because it's connected to your phone line and
Plus, it was cheaper, I think. At least here, it was really cheap at nights.
maybe or somebody calls and it breaks the internet. It takes
exactly,
forever to connect because there's
during
so
the day, every
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
Makes sense.
If somebody picks up the phone, it's
that's over.
disconnected. Whatever content you're looking at, like it will
It'll
be
disappear,
so the only time I would be doing it, get really into the internet was during summers, and at the middle of the night. And I remember waking up, my dad, he was sleeping, and I was probably 1, 2 a.m. And dad, wake up, because I was on chat.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, maybe WBS or something.
Yeah.
And I woke up. I thought it was some earthquake or some a break in.
Yeah.
And so what's going on? Put on his glasses. Like, there's another Filipino on the internet.
Oh, that's a big news and all from this chat.
And then he got up.
Really?
And
It's big
apparently
news.
some researcher we weren't rich. We weren't rich at the time. We lived in a very, very old Spanish ancestral house.
Oh.
But we had a computer,
Yeah,
with
which
no
is-
ACs
yeah.
in Asia. Like it was
No,
brutal, but
yeah.
we had this magic thing in our house, and
Wow.
that was my entrance to like
To technology.
yeah.
Right?
He taught me how to like do a bit of it, but it just wouldn't. I was already on the GUI.
Nice, yeah.
This is a lot easier than
Yeah,
that.
true. And you met another Filipino, another Pinoy, right?
Yeah.
Pinoy,
Oh, you
yeah.
know the word.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's so cool. So first of all, in terms of films, like I think because you watch so many movies, you could be a good film director, actually.
My dream as a kid, was to just be a part of a film. That's it.
Any role, right? Filmmaker, I mean, like a director or a cameraman or actor, maybe.
I was my goal was just for my name to come up on the rolling screen,
Nice,
at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, the cast.
Right, the
Cast and
cast,
crew,
not
yeah.
the cast. I was thinking
Might be
just a
crew.
boom
Yeah,
mic,
just a-
that was it.
Yeah.
And I've never fulfilled that dream.
Maybe we'll help you to do it in the system. I don't know. I have
One of
connections,
those.
so maybe we can do it.
But I was always fascinated with it. That was my window to the world, and then the internet came in.
Yeah.
No, that was around the same time. There was a bit of mix in that. Yeah.
Nice, love. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah, I love. So the movies and technology have a lot of synergies. Basically, my experience in films really helps me today with my job. Like whenever I speak, whenever I teach as well, because I'm also in academia.
Yeah.
But also whenever I do, when I worked in IT, because we as filmmakers probably those who are the most creative in in different arts, right? Because films combine the arts. Like
Yes.
there's literature, there's sculpture, architecture, music, anything you name it, right? Theater, but it's all inside films, right? Actors act, writers write. So and when there's so many arts into one, you have to be very creative because you have a lot of media.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Every single medium enriches the experience of the. Today we call them users, but at that time the audience, right? The viewers, the readers, and everything. So when I worked at Microsoft, people would the geeks, the real geeks,
Yeah.
right? The downside of them is they're not as creative. They have amazingly strong logic.
Yeah.
Right, they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get from. I always say, like, with
Absolutely.
logic, you can get from point A to point B easily. Like we can't, like the creative ones.
Creative. It
But
goes all over the place.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is our strength, actually, right? We can get anywhere with our creativity, right? But ideally, you should have both, or
Yes.
at least like balance some harmony there.
And that's what California is, isn't it? Sunset Strip, the best bands, man. Is
Absolutely.
Hollywood, Silicon Valley. Like it's
Yeah,
just
both,
perfect
yeah,
mix of
entertainment, art, and technology.
yeah.
Yes.
And then this purpose.
Yeah.
So you were in America.
Yeah.
You were a filmmaker. Then you worked with Microsoft. Why did you come back here?
So it's a big question that people ask me all the time
Yeah.
because
All right.
it's
Sorry.
weird. Yeah, I think it's very reasonable because it sounds weird. Like you made a great career in America, right? You achieved the American dream. American dream is like your own single family house that's fully paid off,
Oh my God.
right?
It's
Pretty material. And I achieved everything, right? And I was at the point, when I was the VP at a big global company called Bold and BOLD.com. They are the leaders in the resume cover letters filled careers and jobs. So like why would you go back to a country that's like way less developed and worse conditions, life conditions, right? And mentality is a little bit different because I'm more like on the Western mentality. Like I like freedom, I like justice and things like that. Human rights is a little bit. So, but for me, it was a very conscious decision. I actually planned it, and I thought, okay, I was helping already Uzbek guys to get into like big tech. Once in a while, somebody would reach out and say like, hey, I have an interview with Google, I have an interview with Amazon. How would I go about it? Because I hired a lot at these companies as well, like at Microsoft particularly. I know what we ask. I know how to answer these questions. I would help them. But I thought, okay, I could do it at scale. Like if I came back, I actually wrote an IT Park a letter saying like, hey, listen, I'm coming back. I have money. I can invest. I have knowledge. I can, mentor the startups. I have a lot that I can offer, and I offer everything for free. No response. Like completely not interested. Looks like,
Whoa.
but I'm persistent, right? So I started consistently telling them like, hey, following up. Like I found another person, and then I said, listen, do you want me to help or not? And they said, yeah, come over. So then I came over. It's a long story. So I met with them eventually and started collaborating. But I thought, okay, if I come back, I'll be able to do so many cool things here in Uzbekistan. And also, I was reading that Uzbekistan has changed. A lot of people,
yes.
right? You
Oh,
noticed,
oh my God.
right?
Oh my.
Huge change. A lot of people who live there for like 20, 15 years, they still think that Uzbekistan is those 90s, right?
Bro, my expectation of Uzbekistan, because I just, my first time was just last month.
Oh,
right? It was my
just so
first time.
recent.
And in my mind, I'm going to land in Tashkent, and there would be mud or brick houses, mud houses,
yeah.
and then there would be a mosque, and there would be a donkey,
Donkey,
there would be
on the roads,
maybe a camel, people walking in
Camels,
traditional
desert,
clothing. That was my idea of like Tashkent. We went down here like, oh my God, this is Europe, but even better. Look at the roads. Because I grew up in the Philippines. There's a huge American influence, of course. It's always vilified, the Russian. And that's my source of
evil.
information, right?
It's evil. Even if with these donkeys, if you meet some Russian guys, there's some evil, crazy criminals,
spies, evil
spies and
spies,
stuff. Like every other one is a spy. Yeah, it's cool. So, so you were pretty surprised, right?
I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was very, very pessimistic about it because when Hassan and Carmen said, "Oh, we're going to invest in Uzbekistan," right? And
what the heck?
and
Why?
it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why Uzbekistan?
Uzbekistan,
Is it?
like,
And I say, like, it's pretty good. And we came down here, like, oh my God, the roads are big.
Yeah.
The amount of trees, the amount of parks.
Yeah.
I haven't, and I've been to about 76 countries.
Oh, yeah.
It's 76 countries. Like, I was, we didn't have the money to travel. So my first time to be on a plane I was already 28 years old.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
For an international flight.
Nice.
Just like, I guess, the similarities between Uzbeks and Filipinos is that it's so difficult to get out where you are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's harder for Filipinos, right?
I'm
Because
sure.
it's an island, poor island, you're bounded by ocean.
And you have more people, looks like.
More
Yeah, way
people.
more people, yeah. So Uzbekistan. Now, when I became kind of a little famous in the IT field in Uzbekistan, so my post went viral, and people actually went viral in a bad way, right? People started hating me for leaving America. I would be surprised. Like, America gave you so much. Why would you go back to your country? And it's like,
Did you get your green card or your
Yeah.
passport then?
Yeah.
Right.
And then so I came back, and people had comments like, well, why would he change America to a country where it's like donkeys, on the road? And I said, donkeys on the road? Are you kidding me? We have no roads, only donkeys.
It was like Borat's town,
Yeah,
right? Like for me, it was all the same.
all the same. Yeah. People
that's
have that perception.
You know Borat, right?
Yeah, Borat, Kazakh. It's actually, he's playing as a Kazakh character. Everything was shot in Romania, and people don't even look like Kazakhs, especially Uzbeks. But
Exactly.
But anyway, so that's their perception, yeah.
But that was my perception
As well, right?
Yeah.
It's so much different, yeah. And people don't understand, yeah. But the main part about today's Uzbekistan is that it's growing like crazy. The trajectory is just hockey stick. It's crazy fast. And it's good time to be here right now and doing things like doing business, doing like IT, career, education, business directions. So that's why I came back, and also I missed my country. So I lived like 25 years abroad, like so I missed it. Of course, like our food is amazing. I don't know if you tried it, right?
Bro, there's a Samsa place downstairs.
Samsa.
Yeah, by the corner there.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Perfect. Right?
That's my jam. They make it in a brick oven.
Yeah, and it's so cheap. Everything is so cheap, right?
Man, we were at the hotel last night. 2 pizzas, 2 kofta servings, got a platter of food, an entire bottle of vodka for like $130 or something in the hotel.
In the hotel, yeah.
It's
expensive. When it's $100, like really, like you have to find a place to spend so much money. It's like normally it's like $5-10 that if you wanna eat like fully, with first, second courses and maybe dessert and some drinks, it's pretty cheap. Yeah. And people are great.
I think it's very underrated. Uzbekistan is so underrated.
So underrated. Yeah. Now we open up. Now people know more about us.
So my question about that is because I'm new here, right? Like you're coming out from a very very closed country, and now it's opening up. How are the people adjusting? Because there's an adjustment, and this is now. That's been now. Right now. What's the reality now?
Yeah, so people, the one big surprise that I experienced when I came back is the level of English. People do speak English way better than they did at my time.
Okay.
Right. At that time, like in Filipino, obviously everyone spoke English all this time, like for decades.
American occupation.
American occupation helped that. And your English is so good, like you wouldn't feel the accent, like when they speak in India and even Bangladesh, right? Because there's some accent, like if they hire a call center, right?
No, I worked in a call center, man. That was telemarketer, brutal.
Yeah, but they would think that you're in America somewhere because your English is so good, right? And you have no accent. Like your accent is actually American, which is best, right, for American market. And now Uzbeks also have pretty good English, like especially younger folks. When I go and speak, I have to speak to somewhere where they only speak Uzbek, right? And I speak Uzbek like day-to-day stuff, but when I have to go and speak publicly, it's pretty bad. So I just go and speak English, and everyone understands me, even school kids. Like I go to school.
I noticed the younger ones, the younger ones.
They're very, 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 very cool. That's one of the biggest surprises that I had when I came back. Another one is, people are adapting. Uzbekistan historically is very hospitable, right, as a nation.
Yeah, got some experiences here,
right?
It's
everyone invites you.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. In my perception, it's just everybody is cold.
Yeah.
But I got the warmest. Like I went to the boxing matches with Mike Tyson and Holyfield.
Right. Yeah.
Bro, I got to meet like Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
In the US, you went there?
No, here in Tashkent. Holyfield, Mike Tyson was here last week.
I know Mike Tyson, but Holyfield, I didn't know that.
They were here together.
And they were fighting?
No.
I guess
that would be.
They can't.
I mean, why? No.
There was just like kind of some show, some entertainment.
Yeah, but they were like the boxing level here. By the way, I'm very deep into martial arts.
Oh, nice!
I'm the head coach for the national boxing team of Bangladesh. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Because I'm Filipino and boxing at the time when I came in was very small, and then I met this guy who was really eager to do promotions, and then
Nice.
you're the guy.
Wow, it's so cool. So Mike Tyson, you met him like personally
He
here
was
in
my god.
Uzbekistan.
He was my god.
Yeah,
Like
he's
just
very cool
seeing,
guy.
and you know that time.
Yeah.
You know that time in. Have you seen his fights growing up?
Before, yo, he was like
That was the thing.
the beast, right? He
In
destroyed
the
people.
Philippines, because Vegas is Saturday night fight, right?
Yeah.
So Sunday churches would be empty.
Seriously,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
is
yeah.
watching, right?
There would be one TV set in your street who has a
On
TV.
the street
All
even,
right,
like,
in the 80s. Yeah,
no.
I didn't live in a fancy
Yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah. So
All right,
only one
we had a
person would
TV
have it.
though.
Ah,
All
you
right,
did.
and then there would be uncles and aunts. There would be cooking. There would be
Oh my God,
drinking,
nice.
and we're gonna watch Mike Tyson.
Wow.
And it was just a spectacle.
Yeah, he's spectacular. He's the brightest sports mind, I think. Like, and just like his son is also pretty strong. Actually, I saw some fights of his son when he was like 17, 16. He
I
would
didn't
destroy.
follow, yeah.
He would destroy like big guys, like 25, or like really strong, mature fighters. But Mike Tyson at that time, he was a beast. He would destroy anyone, right? He
Oh
would,
yeah, yeah.
so
But
young.
coming back
Yeah.
to now, it's we're noticing that Uzbekistan is opening up
Yeah.
to the world, and of course, there's a lot of American influence. Mike Tyson was here, right?
Yeah, well, there's an American influence, yeah, for sure.
Is there a resistance to that, or how
No.
does the public feel?
No, so the thing about Uzbekistan, historically, we never really tried to fight anyone. And even when there were so many conquerors, Mongols, Arabs, Russians, so many. And every time some, big tribe comes to this land, people just open doors and say, welcome. Nobody
Right.
fights. And that's, I think, very wise, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise they'll just destroy you, right? And then you'll disappear as a nation. But it was so wise, and it's still in our minds, like whenever somebody comes in, it's a guest, it's not like an enemy, right? So that's why today, with all these very, very complex political situation worldwide, we are in the middle of things, right? Russians have a lot of influence here. Americans have a lot of influence here.
Yeah.
Chinese have a
Yeah.
lot of influence.
Koreans, yeah.
And Arabs, right? And everyone tries to, because we are like in the middle of all these roads, this great Silk Road was here.
It is starting to be the Silk Road again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this modern
back.
Silk Road is
Modern
back.
Yeah, absolutely, modern
Yeah.
Silk Road. And so we used to, deal with this situation, and we know how to balance, right? We are in good relationships basically with everyone, because we're very hospitable, we want to be friendly. And we're so small, we can't fight really big guys, right? If we say no to Americans, there will be tons of sanctions. If we say no to Russians, Russia is our major partner in trade,
Oh, yeah.
right? China is just growing like crazy in this
Yeah.
country, right? If you look at the cars, most electric cars in Uzbekistan
Yeah, it's
are
Chinese.
Chinese,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, and also they're expanding like crazy in the regions,
Yes.
which is scary. I'm not 100% fan of this kind of expansion, but because the conditions, the terms that they,
Yeah,
it's
that
probably
trap.
yeah, it's a trap. Yeah, so and it's true probably for Philippines,
Oh,
for
it
many
stands
countries.
right now.
It's very
I
tense.
hope we keep peace though.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, especially with like China and Taiwan, it's a lot of
Yes,
tension
yes,
there.
yes.
So, but there are a lot of interest in this region, and we used historically to deal with this, and now especially with this time, Uzbekistan is super open to anyone. We wouldn't be friends with everyone when people come in, do investments. Guys like you come in and open amazing academies, and because I know about your company, the university you
Yeah.
guys have in Bangladesh.
So,
you guys are
so
awesome.
going back to that, this
Yeah.
modern, Uzbekistan is getting back to this modern Silk Road, and
Yeah.
all these countries, getting interest. I'm interested. We
Yeah, I know.
invested here, and we're going to
Yeah.
invest more.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
pumped. I'm going to bring my friends in. But I was thinking last night, I couldn't sleep. Like I'm in Uzbekistan right now. I'm in Tashkent, I'm in the
First
middle
time.
of, and I've never thought about it because growing up, you would, man, you're a kid, you're insecure, you would never amount to anything. I've never thought I would go anywhere,
Yeah,
right? But
now you
now I've
have
traveled
so much.
This is actually 77 now.
Nice,
All
nice.
right.
There you go. Yeah.
And if I was in the Silk Road at the time, at its peak back in the day, what languages would make sense? And today it's English, and people would talk in maths, programming language.
True.
That's it. And that's why I think that's
Programming is universal, basically.
and yeah, exactly. It's a universal. Like everybody
Yeah.
speaks it.
Yeah.
Everybody speaks
If
it.
they don't speak the actual language, they would just show each other their code, and they would understand, what's wrong, how to improve it.
And yeah. And the reason why we're really interested here is I'm very interested in data because I teach SAP. I still teach. Yeah.
Nice.
And personally, for the first batch, I will be personally teaching here.
Here,
Yeah.
Lucky.
I'll be personally teaching this.
Nice.
When SAP came up with big data with the SAP HANA, so one of the statistics I'm looking at is especially when we're investing, right? In different, we've got investments in Japan, in Bangladesh, in the US, in Philippines, and in different
Multiple,
places.
yeah.
But one thing that we're looking at is, all right, what are the resources there? And we found out, well, what I found out is that the human capital here, there's something very special. And I'll tell you what. The first thing that you look at is the general IQ of the individual. Now, just from the places where I live, Bangladesh right now, the average IQ is 76. But with that, because I also worked in BPO in Bangladesh, and we got it's a very, very good source of revenue for the country.
Yeah, true.
Now with India, which is our big brother, right?
Huge.
It's 79. The average IQ of an Indian is 79. With 3 points, man. Now they're throwing people into space, right?
True, yeah.
Right, and their BPO is
Crazy.
insane.
Insane.
The tech
It's the biggest, yeah.
is
ever.
is insane.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, I got a bit of pride. We're at 81.
Oh,
We're
nice.
2 points higher than India.
Wow.
Right, and you can see it. Their language acquisition.
Yeah.
We could,
I'm not surprised, actually.
bro. We
think
could do
Phil-
British. We could do Australian. We could do it's just that.
Yeah, I met a lot of Filipinos in America, by the way, and they all impressed me. I still have friends.
Oh, there you go.
Those who are watching, like,
Kamusta?
yeah, here you go. Yeah, proud Pinay, right?
All right.
So very cool.
Yeah, but Uzbekistan is at 89.
Seriously,
The
I didn't
average,
know that.
and it's so close to like first world countries, but the rates, like I said, it's so underrated.
Maybe
It's unexplored human capital that the world hasn't seen yet. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about.
I didn't even know that. Thanks for enlightening me. So I'll know now that 89 is huge. And I think the reason why we, as a country, not as developed as like other countries with the same IQ, is because, previous government, this government is all right.
Yeah.
But previous one was built a bit too brutal and, closing all the borders, not letting people, to really self-develop. Now, that's the biggest shift that happened, education. Right now, everything is open. You can learn anything, and it's actually there's so many preferences that government gives to educational centers, that IT Park gives, and this is all done so people really study.
I got a good news, man.
You
From
got-
that first meeting that we had
Yeah,
to last night, I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose this now, but
we can cut
I
it
think
later.
we are gonna, because you mentioned in that first meeting
Yeah,
that unlike any other country in the regions, like if you're American, I'm going east or west, New York or California. That's it, right? All middle America. Forget about it. Or in the Philippines, you either go to Manila or Cebu. That's it.
yeah.
Forget about the rest.
I have
But
friends in
you
both.
paid attention to the regions, and so tomorrow I'm gonna go to.
Samarkand?
No, not Samarkand. This really close to Tajikistan and
Andijan?
Andijan.
Andijan.
All right,
okay,
all right.
okay,
'Cause
very cool.
I think
The valley. That's our valley. We call it the valley.
so what is it like? What am I expecting?
Actually, I've never been to Andijan. I've been to
Andijan.
Fergana, which
Yeah.
is very close. So
Yes.
Fergana, Namangan, and Andijan. It's called our Fergana Valley.
Yeah.
Right? It's like west from Tashkent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's beautiful. There are mountains there. It's green, pretty green, comparably for Uzbekistan. Nice place, and people are way better than in Tashkent. So the worst people in Uzbekistan actually live in the capital. Probably true to many countries, right?
You know, I was in that Mike Tyson boxing match, bro. I went alone. All right,
Just by yourself?
yeah, because I needed to
Brave.
go. I don't have friends here. I don't have friends. And now you're my friend.
Okay,
right?
let's go together next
Okay,
time.
but we're talking about the English, right?
Yeah.
And one of the ushers like ushered me to my seat, spoke English.
Oh,
very,
nice.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And it was there and a kid, probably about 16 years old. Like he was a kid. He was sitting in front of me. Hey, bro, you speak English? Yeah, I do speak English. And we became fast friends. Right, so this
Suddenly,
kid just,
wow.
Traveled from Samarkand to
go
just to
for
watch
the
the boxing
event.
fights,
Wow,
right?
wow.
And because I bought last minute, so I got the seats from the peanut gallery and stuff like that. And he was like a gangster man. He stood up. He was tall. He was tall. Like everybody in that arena was kind of scary, because there were the testosterone level of the fans.
Yeah,
They're
that's how you
like, oh,
feel.
this is how it feels to be a woman.
Oh, young,
Like,
big guys. They're like, what's it?
and then he found a seat for me closer
Oh,
to the
nice.
ring.
Good
Just
guy.
like
Just
like
out of-
street smarts.
Nice. Yeah. I love it.
I love that. And he was from Samarkand. We were supposed to like drive to Samarkand, but then I had so much work.
So yeah, change of plans. Yeah, but visit Samarkand. You'll enjoy it.
I've never been. I've never
Yeah,
been to
yeah.
Bukhara.
Yeah,
This is my
Bukhara,
first
yeah.
time tomorrow leaving.
Nice.
Leaving Tashkent, and I'm
to
so
enter.
excited.
Yeah.
Stoked.
But especially Samarkand and Bukhara, they have so many historical places, and they're used to now tourists. They know how to treat guests,
Yeah.
so you'll enjoy it.
But when I come there, I don't know if you can hook me up with somebody who's a good storyteller that knows history, right?
Yeah, I can. I have friends almost in every city and town in Uzbekistan. So just let me know where you go. Even Andijan. I actually have a good friend. He's in America right now. He's actually a millionaire who makes a very good big company that he is creating. He actually probably, I don't know, might be the first Uzbek unicorn, like a billionaire, but we'll see. But his relatives live there. And they know me very well, so maybe I'll hook you up with them.
Yeah. So, and somebody that, personality-wise, you get a feel of like who's gonna
They're very
gel.
good people. Very good people. So just let me know afterwards. I'll give you some information. Very cool.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah. So speaking of adoption and like how Uzbekistan is, ready for this transition, right? A lot of attention right now to education, to career, and to freelancing. Right?
Yes.
We're gonna make sure like things that you guys teach, I'm gonna teach, and there's so many. Like if you notice, like every other corner has some kind of academy or learning center or something. Mostly English, and now the second biggest is IT.
Yeah.
So what we do. So yeah, it's interesting. You didn't disclose, by the way. You said like we have some news, and didn't disclose it eventually. Decided not to disclose.
Well, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
People will know eventually. So, but yeah, I think it's the right thing, and I'm so happy that guys like you come to Uzbekistan, and especially when you personally will teach SAP stuff. It's so cool because the knowledge that we get, especially the quality. Right now, we have a lot of quantity. So many, but the quality isn't there yet. I can tell you because I speak everywhere, like academies, university schools, like every single, like if it's IT related, I probably already spoke there, and nationwide, I travel as well, not just in Tashkent, and I see that the level isn't there yet. I ask questions when I speak, and they ask questions in the end, and I could tell based on this, their answers and the questions that they ask, it's not there yet. So when folks like us bring quality into the game, that will be a game changer.
What defines quality for you?
For me, it's the result. Like in the end, like you guys, when you talked about your university, right? You said, "Oh, look, the top Google guys are our grades in Asia, right?" in India, so many people who are like governing
Yeah.
IT, even in the government, from our university, in London, in America, everywhere. So that's the indication of quality, right?
Yeah.
If people graduate and first can get a job,
Can
and
get a
second
job,
can
yeah.
progress in the career, that means they were given a high quality education.
Yeah. Well, for companies, it's very easy.
True.
Look, there's only two questions that they really want to know. They don't want to know about your grades or or your diploma. Although this is kind of like bite me in the behind because I'm in academia, right?
Yeah.
But what we're basically the question is, what can you fix
Yeah.
or what can you create? That's it. And if you cannot answer those two questions,
I love it.
I don't care about this, like
Education, yeah.
how many straight A's. And by the way, I think both of us agree that not only in Uzbekistan, but we notice this globally, we are in an inflation of education,
True.
wherein it's so easy now to get an A. It's so easy to just giving it out.
You pay basically.
Because we know it is education, and we are in education. We are suffering for this, but we find it very difficult to control it.
True.
All right.
True.
But yeah, we're in that. So what we're trying to do here in NextGen Academy, so we're not gonna do quizzes. We're not gonna do grades. We're not gonna do grades.
I
What
love
we're
it.
gonna do is, all right. There's just one test at the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, whatever it is, if it's building a computer or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not that technical guy. All right, this is the problem.
Yeah.
All right, solve it. You solve it. All right, now you can answer the question. What can you fix?
Nice. I love
All right.
it. I love it.
Or
Create.
feel free to use our facility here. Create something. It's a playground.
love
What can you create?
Nice.
Now, talking about going to AI, I had first-hand experience in this, because I was fascinated with
crazy.
animation,
Oh,
right?
nice.
I mean, film in general,
Yeah, yeah.
but somehow animation landed in my
It's part of it. Yeah.
area,
It's some
right?
limited creativity.
And I wanted to be part of that animation, so we started introducing animation in Bangladesh in our university,
Wow.
and it led me to Annecy. Do you know that every year this is like the Cannes of
Yeah.
or of animation. So all the studios go there, from different parts of the
Yeah,
world.
for sure.
It's summer, beautiful, by the French Alps, the valley, you see the lake. It's gorgeous. Look it up, Annecy Festival every year, every summer.
Do
It's
people
there.
do some cosplay there as well, or it's just like professionals?
All students, all
Mostly
students,
students,
and then
super
you'd
students.
had superheroes there,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, or there may be guys like that, celebrities,
Very cool, very cool.
guys from Ghibli's or
Wow.
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, show up there.
The gods.
Gods, yeah. But anyway, it was my first time. I'm so bad at years, but it was my first time to get on VR.
Oh yeah.
My God, the first time I I got my hands on this, I was blown away. Like, oh my God, it's the sound. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, everything.
5D.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
360.
Wow.
The visual. I went back to Bangladesh. All right, and I told the bosses. All right,
VR.
we gotta get. We're looking for space. No, we gotta get this. We gotta get this, and we did it. All right, I had them try it. Like, oh, this is pretty interesting. The games at the time were very very rudimentary and
Yeah,
and
true.
very simple.
It's still
All right, but
impressive, right? Yeah.
I had a team. It's all about a small team of kids getting together in a playground and just working things out.
Wow.
So our goal was just to create something on the computer. All right. Again, I'm not technical, but I'm a huge fan of it. So I pull up this guy's money from everywhere,
Nice.
and let's create this space.
Yeah, just
And we will. First thing is, if I want to see just this ball, suspended in air, doesn't have to be moving, doesn't have to be animated.
should be
Can we do it? And it's, group of like they're not being paid. They're just like after, man, I got into a lot of trouble because these kids would skip class.
Oh.
All right, like so I had to talk to the
They
teachers.
loved it
Come on,
too,
come on,
yeah.
Just take it
a good
easy on
thing,
these
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
And the first time I saw that, like that was like a breakthrough. They would work through the night and just like have samsa, or
I love it, yeah.
we didn't have funding at
Wow.
the time, but of course I'll give something for these guys. But that was the start, and then it led to that, and a couple of I think 2 years after that, we were already making games in VR,
Wow, so fast. Wow.
and then AI was starting. All right.
Indeed.
It was kind of a success, but it was also a failure. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
We made this. The easiest game to make would be zombie games, because you don't have. It's not high fidelity. You make almost blood fidelity. It doesn't matter. Haunted house, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you wake up. You're in the middle of this cemetery-looking old mansion and stuff like that. And then there would be zombies walking, but these are programmed in AI, right?
Oh.
Attacking. But then you know how you could teleport to the next and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
the
yeah,
next and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
So we thought it was a failure. We played it. All right. This is way too easy.
Okay.
But it was an open source.
Nice.
All right. So it died like for months. I think 3 months after, some people were playing around with it, and the zombies who came back were just scaling walls using tools.
Oh,
You could get
okay. inside
inside the mansion. They started to learn. They're able to predict where you're gonna be. All right. I
Wow.
think 3 months after that, or just a month after that, it was just impossible to play the game. It's just like, boom.
You lose right away because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
became so smart.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is just the catcher right
That's
away.
scary.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right.
Well, that's my taste of
Yeah,
AI,
yeah. That's the thing. Now, it's learning so fast. It's scary. Like in the game as a zombie or as a text predictor or whatever. Now with the recent events with Sam Altman leaving and then coming back, right? Now there are rumors that the whole argument was exactly about that. It's developing too fast.
Yeah.
It's a threat for humanity, especially the new thing. It's called X right now. I think not X. It's called Q right now. The Q ChatGPT. That's kind of some kind of secret name for the new project. Basically, the alternative of GPT-5. And they say it's a bit too fast. The way it's learning a bit too fast, and it might get out of control pretty quickly. I think that was the major argument, and I think that's why it looked so childish when they went public with all these accusations of each other. Doing this like no trust. Being not being open. I don't know if it's true or not. Might not be the true, but we should be cautious. I'd rather be cautious and learn that I was
Relax
wrong
about it.
versus than just skip it and then eventually like we're all done. So that's why it's so interesting. But the future is gonna be exciting at the same time and scary a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Just because of AI.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting
But
times.
going back to that, because I also teach like emerging technologies. Again, I'm not a developer, so don't ask me like specific.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
But I always encourage the young to look at what's going on. So if you look at this is what I always show. Do you follow the Gartner technology hype cycle?
Yeah.
If you look at this was 2013, how it looked like.
Yeah.
So in 2013, it was, but all of this has gone to reality, right?
True.
A lot faster too.
Yeah.
Because this would say like 10 years, but then a lot of these things has already happened in a shorter period
Yeah,
of
much
time.
much faster. Yeah. And this was the prediction, right, from by Gartner in 13, right, 2013. Looks
That's 2013.
like. Man,
Automated vehicles, like, come on, we
crazy.
had it
Yeah,
already.
it's there. Yeah, it's there. A lot of things have happened before we thought it would happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's faster and faster. So I always explain it as a beep, right, as a sound. Like if sound keeps increasing or decreasing the period in between the two sounds, let's say beep, beep, right? So beep,
In
beep,
between.
beep, in between is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah,
Beep,
yeah,
beep, beep, beep,
yeah,
beep, beep,
yeah,
beep, beep.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
what it becomes? It becomes one sound.
My dad told something about that. I don't know what's the word again.
There's the word that
Yeah,
multiple
I
terms.
forgot. Yeah,
So
yeah.
one is called kind of acceleration, and
Yeah.
another one is a hockey stick. It's called I forgot the word as well.
Is
Um, exponential growth. Exponential growth.
There's a fancy.
Fancy word?
Yeah, I
Could be.
forgot. So some person's name.
Ah,
I forgot. Anyway, look at 2023.
yeah.
Look at 2023. What are we looking at here?
So
Because if you want to be at the very cusp, you
Yeah.
want to look at here.
Yeah.
If it's here, it's already like the hype is already there. But if you want to be ahead of the program, you got to start looking at something here.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to click. You know when it's going to come out. But I would start investing either money or time. And this one starts here.
So interesting. For the longest one, more than 10 years, it's cybersecurity mesh
My
architecture and neurosymbolic AI. The rest, especially these ones like generative AI,
Yeah,
everything's super
we're
fast.
already
We're
understanding
here.
it.
We're here, yeah, we're here. Causal AI, post-quantum cryptography. Yeah, so many cool things. AI augmented, basically, what
Yeah.
you did with the game. Yeah, so many cool things are happening.
But tell you
Yeah.
what's interesting about this? I'm just like
Yeah.
noticing it now. In 2013, they know what the throw of enlightenment is, where it's plateaued. We already understand it because it's gonna drop. Oh, it's gonna
It's
be the
always-
next internet, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
then it
man.
goes
So,
down,
yeah,
and
it's
then we
always
have
like that,
understand it
always.
now. It becomes part of society.
Yeah,
right.
true. So
Interesting part is like nobody knows.
nobody knows because that's where the singularity happens, basically.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, yeah, because that's where you don't know, you can't control, you can't come back. It's the point of no return. So, and that's why, especially with generative AI, right? When
We're
AGI,
gonna plug this for the viewers.
yeah,
right?
we will.
Like,
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can't like show like this, but
Yeah.
they'll plug it. But basically, after AGI, the things will start developing even faster, right? Because the smarter it gets, the faster it learns. The faster it learns, the smarter it gets, and it's like a cycle. And that's why it's this hockey stick, right? Exponential growth. But then at one point, it becomes ASI, which is artificial superintelligence, right? Not general. And that's where it's like the level of God, basically, 80s level. So we have no idea what's good, what's bad for that creature or whatever
yeah.
we will call it, right? We might disappear as a humankind. We might flourish like crazy. We might live forever as a society. No wars, no, people being poor or uneducated or whatever. Everyone is healthy, happy, and, for their eternity. But we don't know. That's why it's called singularity. It's very cool. We might be the last
So
people.
this thing, like, wow,
yeah.
we don't know. We know up to here only. Before we were able to predict. All right, we're good.
It's impossible to predict what's going to happen next because we built something that never existed. We did it before, right? We built first a wheel, then fire, internet, things that weren't there before, but none of those were able to learn, right, by itself. That's the only thing, the AI that can self-develop. So it's like humans, basically.
Does it scary? Does it excite?
It's very scary because we are like that as well, humans, right? We self-developed, we learn, but we have evolutional limits. We can't progress. The person,
physical,
just physically, yeah. Like the person 100 years ago, person today isn't much different in terms of their brain.
Yeah.
But this every year becomes way more
Exponentially.
developed, exponential growth. Yeah. So it's scary. Yeah, it's exciting, yes, but it's more scary than exciting, I think.
Well, going back to film.
Yeah.
All right. What is the film that you think would be quite close to to that? Is it the Matrix? Is it like what?
Matrix is BS, I think, because same for Terminator and things like that. Because you need a lot of energy. So if let's say if we live in simulation as a Matrix, which is possible, and I'll tell you more a little bit about that later. But if it's a simulation, it doesn't really make sense to make sure everything that we see is being generated. It just resource-wise, it's not reasonable.
Well, if machines are doing it.
I mean, it's very so. The theory behind simulation is that if I don't turn there, it doesn't exist. Once I turn there and look, it immediately generated, right? So like in the games, right?
Okay.
Like that's basic theory behind simulation, right? But it's easier, let's say, when we have dreams, right? When it's appeared, but there might be something else. I mean, evolution is much more reasonable to be than simulation. Basically, it takes less resources because it exists already. It doesn't need to regenerate every time for every person, for every human being, or like for every being. Right? But the other side now, I want to talk about simulation. When we do simulations, like in IT, when you guys do it in anywhere in education, in science, right? You don't know. You do it because you don't know what's going to happen. That's why you simulate and see like what's going to be in the end. Before it actually happens, you want to simulate and see. Then it becomes super interesting. If somebody decided to do this as a simulation, they have no idea. So that actually doesn't change anything. We live without knowing what's going to happen next. It's not a game when everything is written and you know the different scenarios. No, we don't know. And they don't know. Whoever the God, whoever created us also does not. That's why then simulation makes sense. Right? But I don't think it's like technical simulation. It doesn't really make that much sense in terms of resources. It might be some different because I think we're just infants right now as a humankind. We're just one planet civilization, and there's a theory that there are lives out there that we don't see because they are like us, one planet civilizations that eventually disappear. Because one big rocket hits their planet, it's over. Their sun stops, shining, it's over. There's so many reasons that it can be over, and also millions of years is nothing compared to eternity, right? So that's
the expanse of time.
Yeah, time is like what we live is just like a little blink.
Blip of a blip of a blip.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's
How
why
insignificant.
Yeah, on the grand things scheme of things, I think. If it's a simulation or if it's not simulation, our goal as a humankind is to keep developing, keeping it under control, but keep improving because we need to get out of our planet, of our solar system as well.
Aren't we all on board on that?
I think so, yeah. A lot of people.
Yeah. The more you think about it, like, oh my God, this is super fast.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we have bureaucrats, we have
corporate interests,
we have conflicts between countries. Everyone is trying to develop their own, they don't talk to each other, and that's the biggest. That's, I think, what if something kills us, that's going to be politicians who can't agree with stuff. That's very sad because if China, Russia, America keep developing their own, fighting just to own the world, right? But then it develops so fast that they wouldn't be able to control it. That's why they need to talk to one another, but they don't. But recently, Chinese and American authorities met, and there were a lot of tech people there. Elon Musk was there, and Satya Nadella and Sundar Pichai. So
I'm sure there's a lot of info in that meeting that we don't know. We don't know.
And we wouldn't.
That we don't know.
Yeah. But I think the main thing that you can guess is that things are developing too fast, and we don't have measures to control it yet in terms of laws. Right? There's no law yet on AI. None of the countries have a law, and then there is no protection for people losing jobs because of AI, which is going to be big as well. Like there are studies from PwC, McKinsey, Microsoft, World Forum that says from 300,000 to 800,000 people lose jobs by 2030 because of AI. Lose jobs or be affected by AI, which is not the same thing, but also like pretty dangerous for people. Like if you work 9 to 5, and you do something that AI can do, And that's another interesting thing. Before we thought it's going to be very physical kind of work, like let's say taxi drivers, right, or cashiers, right, at the grocers and other stores. Then yeah, that made sense at that time. But now because it became so smart, now copywriters, marketers, designers, and engineers and programmers are losing jobs because it can do things faster, better, and cheaper.
And that also answers the question, the focus of BPO, like.
Yeah.
You got a problem in your phone. You used to be a Filipino or an Indian dude, right? Like
Now you
that's
don't
it.
have.
Now, what
Yeah.
if on your iPhone something's wrong on your iPhone and you call and it's Steve Jobs, calming voice.
True.
All right, it already knows what the problem is. Hey, don't worry about it, Ed.
Yeah. So look, there's a guy in India, the company named Dukan. It's e-commerce little startup. So he fired 90% of his staff, the support staff, because AI, the chat that they were using based on AI, was first of all it would answer instantly, and for his guys it would take 1 hour 44 minutes to answer the query from the customer. And second of all, it was 98% more efficient in resolving customer needs, right? The issues.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. As a business person, of course, it makes sense to get rid of people who fight each other, who complain all the time.
Oh yeah, get tired, get
sick, get tired, yeah. And the $20 a month or something like that. So that's one thing. Another thing is that we don't have time to re-educate ourselves. Again, this is the benefit of NextGen, your academy, and what I'm gonna build. Let's give you exclusive information. Actually, I'm not allowed.
Yeah, right.
I need to because I have partners and stuff, so I wouldn't say anything. Right. I wouldn't say the name, but it's coming. Get ready, and we'll partner with NextGen.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're friends. We're not competitors. But that's why it's important what we do, because we're helping people to gain new skills quickly. Right? It's not university that takes like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. It's like, you come here, I don't know, from 1 day to 3 months to 6 months, you learn something that's most likely even with AI involved, right? And then you become professional. And if you learn multiple things, you can combine those, and AI can't combine things yet. It can do one thing. It's called weak AI still. It's not strong yet, and it's not super yet. Weak AI is like Tesla navigation, Alexa, and things like that can only do one thing. Or if multiple things are pretty similar, let's say it can generate text and images, but it can't cook or it can't drive, things like that at the same time. We can as human beings. So while we can do multiple things, we can still fight back for our place under the sun on the job market. But once it gets to AGI level where it can do multiple things that can be like us, then we're in big trouble. Yeah.
So yesterday we were doing this campaign, and we've been doing it the past week in a couple of universities, and it seems to me it's pretty unanimous. There are some universities doing better than others, but it seems pretty unanimous that university generation seems to not know or care. There's a few ones that are really interested. These are the ones that follow you outside, and this is like, how do I enroll? How do I get into these things? Things like that. So, what do you think about combating that?
Yeah. So let me tell you first. Confirm that what you said, and then I'll tell you how we can combat. I speak a lot, and whenever I speak, there are people who don't listen at all, who just not interested, and then there are people, like you said, who would follow you afterwards, ask a lot of questions. And the second group is much smaller, unfortunately. If you have 500 people, maybe only 10, 20 people follow and try to gain more knowledge, which is sad. And how to fight? I think again, it can only be done on the broader scale. You can't fight it case by case. Whenever we open up our academies and centers for education, we kind of build the army of curious minds. Basically, we basically. I think that the right thing is not even to teach.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But to spark the curiosity.
That curiosity
for knowledge, right?
And then once that sparks, this little spark here, this little spark through collaboration. Right. I was actually, I did. You've seen our classrooms, right?
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Love it.
They're right, but what I had in mind and what the next classrooms are gonna be is gonna be more pods,
Oh,
more of
nice.
pods. It's that one way teaching is not gonna work anymore.
True, true.
It's not gonna work.
It's
Okay, you have a
collaboration.
teacher in front, like how we grew up,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's
our
not gonna work anymore.
Not no, it's different. It's collaboration. It's doing things together. Doing projects.
Everybody has different strengths and skills,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. You can't judge a fish how it climbs the tree.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's because
Exactly.
it swims. So yeah, education is changing as well. But I think when we spark that curiosity in minds of our students, that will help them keep learning by themselves afterwards, because what we teach them today might not be relevant in 5 years or 10 years, right? Because things are changing so fast, we don't even know what's going to happen next. So what they will need to learn in
That
like
is-
5 years even, right? So they will need to do it by themselves. That's why we're having this big conference pretty soon in December, like I think it's 16th of December, called Learn to Learn. Like learn how to learn, basically.
Exactly.
So that's what we'll teach, the discipline, the motivation, the office or like productivity tools, the mnemonics, the memory thing, the how to work with mentors, and we'll have 4 academies involved. Actually, you guys can join as well. I think it's not too late. If you want to have your own little part there, let me talk to my team. Maybe you guys want to have
Yeah.
somebody, like maybe you will come speak. It's just timing wise, like if you guys can have somebody really strong like you who could come and speak.
Absolutely.
on December 16th.
I'm going to what do you call that place again?
Anjijan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going there. Like
Nice.
I'm in. I'm
Awesome,
in.
awesome.
I'm in.
Let's talk again.
Yeah,
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 because
let's-
we build. So we bring in 4 academies, but those are different academies, not like ours, yours, or my future academy. Those are corporate academies. So Uzum, EPAM, Beeline, and Alif. 2 like kind of headliners of IT in Uzbekistan.
Oh,
Like
nice.
Right, so they have their own internal academies. Those are mostly free because they basically,
Yeah.
what the business model is that they grow the professionals for themselves. That's why they teach it for free.
Yeah.
They keep the best, and the rest they just say, okay, go, we
Yeah.
gave you the knowledge. So that's I think the key to for solving this problem of less curious people, just people sitting there, because conferences and public events are every day you'll see something, and especially on the weekends. Like on the weekends, a regular student in Uzbekistan has a choice of like from 2 to 10 different places that he or she can go and learn something, mostly for free.
Yeah.
Most
yeah,
of these are
yeah,
free,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because it's like the model. But do they go? Yes, they do. But do they get anything? Not always. Most of the time, they don't. Most of the time, some of the things done are just for the check mark that we've done this, and that pisses me off. I don't like.
I know.
that.
I know.
Yeah,
I know what
it's-
you mean.
Yeah, so that's bad.
Um,
So yeah, so hope with your involvement, what I will create will start changing things little by little, and yeah, and improve.
Right.
Yeah, we need to improve.
But overall, I think we need to. It's a chicken and egg thing situation that we have here. One of the struggles that we have here is that where are the jobs, and then the job providers are where's the resources.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's-
We actually have these 2 questions that I hear all the time, and I say, guys, you contradicting yourselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we can't have no people, no jobs. It's like we do have jobs, we do have people, we're just not matching. And the problem why there's no match is quality. There's no quality, right? If there are people who are starting somewhere that in Uzbekistan, 2 million school kids are starting at the same time every given year. 2 million. And then 165,000 people go to the market every year.
Yeah.
So this is some rough numbers. So there are people who are studying, who are coming to the job market. And why are those guys on the other side, the companies, the businesses say, no, we don't have anyone? Is because the quality isn't there. What they
The
have,
quality isn't there.
right? They don't
Yeah.
want to hire people who just started like at some university, came out with no knowledge, no experience, nothing basically. And of course, nobody wants to hire them. So that's why we come in with quality, and we say, okay, Actually, well, I'm doing one course right now as we speak called IT recruiting course. I do it in partnership with one number one headhunter in Russia, Alena Vladimirskaya, and IT Park. It's all free, but it's super small, only 30 people. But we guarantee job placements in the end.
Yeah,
We're so
that's the thing.
confident.
That's the thing. Like, I think it's a responsibility of every academy
Yeah.
to make sure, because not only money, but these kids are gonna invest a lot of their time
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
and
Especially time. Yeah.
time, and man, we've seen, and then it's not an Uzbek thing. It's not. It's a global thing.
It's a
Where you
global
have
thing.
like I mentioned earlier about the inflation of education, where
Absolutely.
you have good grades. Everybody gets good grades. And then you get your diploma, your bachelor's, and then you can't find a job. All right, go for your master's. We got like cousins, neighbors, still can't find a job. It's because I think the focus now for most
Just
kids is
grades.
getting the grades.
Yeah, that's it.
No,
Not knowledge.
no.
Yeah.
Learn
And
how to fix things or create things.
I love
Get that done. You
Yeah.
will.
Get a job.
Companies will be going for you.
Yeah. Even in the interview, right? They will ask you like, "What have you done?" Or like, "Well, how can you fix this? How can you fix that?"
Exactly.
If they know the answers, they don't need any diplomas or grades or whatever.
Yeah.
Because and if they don't, no diploma will help.
Yeah.
No grades. Like,
Although I'm still a believer of like academia.
Yeah.
I'm still
It's part of
I'm
it.
still a believer of like going into an environment
Yeah.
and training, but it has to adjust.
Yeah.
The academia has to adjust, and what real academia is,
yeah.
what the real academia is, it's gone.
Place, yeah, where you learn, right? It's like the
Exactly,
environment, yeah.
because I don't believe in like, oh, why would I go to this university? I could learn all of this in YouTube. Man, like how many of these kids can really walk up to a girl and actually, hey, can I have your number and things like that? There's so much to it, or collaborate, and all of that happens when you really spend time. When you really spend time.
Absolutely.
Because when you spend time, it's all those long, boring hours, right? That you cannot hold up your guard or ego anymore. That we could actually debate that. I could tell you, man, that sucks, right? Oh, it's a failure, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's more. It only comes through time.
Yeah, through
So I'm
time.
still a strong believer of that, but
I
it has to be the right academia.
I agree. Yeah, it's the environment that you build where people have time. That basically, when you self-study, the biggest issue is discipline, right? Because
Oh my God, the distraction.
Exactly, right? Yeah,
God.
YouTube is, you have tons of YouTube videos, amazing, high quality YouTube videos that you can just watch, right? But will you? No, because you have something else comes up. You always
Yeah.
have some other things, so you wouldn't watch it. And then you have to basically, when you have an environment with other people also studying with you, then you watch together or get them, especially when you get from the first hand from the mentor, the teacher. Then you can discuss it, then you can start collaborating, creating stuff, because you devote your time specifically for that. There's nothing else to do. just to study.
Exactly.
I also believe in academia in this new kind of
Environment. It has to be there.
Yeah.
It has to be there, but it
100%.
has to adjust.
change. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're
Good
doing.
job, guys.
And if you guys believe in this,
Yeah.
kind of approach, well,
Welcome to NextGen.
NextGen, and we're building a bigger one in academia.
Oh, nice! I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, in academia.
Let me know. Yeah, keep me
Yes,
posted.
yes. I strongly believe in that.
Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love it. It's a good idea.
Is it done?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
All
you.
right.
Ed. Really
It was
appreciate
great.
it.
Great
Great
conversation.
conversation.
man.
I loved it. Yeah.